Last time on Comic Creations, I talked about my main characters and how to make them diverse and variant from each other. This time, I'm going to talk about villains, balancing them, and costume design. Every story has a villain. You can have a team of villains, or just one, or even a few that aren't connected. I opted for a team of villains, and they each have a counterpart to the main cast. Each counterpart will be featured in the Speedpaint after the sketch is done. First up, we have Lady Despinia. She's the counterpart to Sin and her sister Ella. Her name comes from astrology and is actually the name of one of Neptune's moons. She's also the leader of the village where the girls come from. She's supposed to be mysterious and powerful and working behind the scenes. She does work with the elite outside of her village, and she's more like a puppeteer than an active antagonist. That's why she's in that pose. I thought it looked mysterious and elegant while also showing off her outfit. Speaking of her costume, I gave her an astrology-inspired dress that's somewhat intricate. She has a detailed updo with ribbons and a back hairpin and a mask because her face is always hidden. For her colors, I chose a bluish purple because I wanted to invoke the night sky, and I think I nailed it. For her references, I referenced masquerade masks, Edwardian and Victorian dresses, and Haruhi's mom from Ouran High School Host Club from the Wonderland episode. Next, we have Ai's counterpart, a boy from the same orphanage she grew up in. His name is Lucas, and they used to be friends until he was eventually adopted. Unfortunately, he was adopted by a bounty hunter. They did lose contact shortly after his adoption. He's street smart and very good with a crossbow, just like a sniper. I tried to give him a slightly more plain appearance than the rest of our heroes because he doesn't really belong with them and eventually will join our heroes. For his pose, I went with a slightly cocky style because he is a smart mouth and often likes to argue with his adopted dad just for the sake of arguing. In battle, he likes to tease Ai and the others, though he prefers to tease Ai. For his colors, I went with purple because originally I was going to have a main character versus villain, which is where the purple came from, his purple versus her green. For his references, I referenced cowboy poses and cowboy clothing, Victorian clothing, and Peter from the anime A Little Princess Sarah. Cecilia's counterpart is probably my favorite out of all of them. She's also blind, but rather than using a mirror to see, she uses sonar. Her name is Nightingale, and she's also a part of the bounty hunter group. Her weapon of choice is her voice, as it places the listener under a trance of sorts. She used to be a very famous opera singer, learning about her magic skills and using it to become successful. However, because she is blind, she was treated like a delicate flower, and she absolutely hated it. So, she left the opera house behind and became a bounty hunter, eventually joining up with the bounty hunter team. For her outfit, I went somewhat simple, but also grand in keeping with her backstory. She wears a blindfold as she has no need for her eyes, and I kept the back of her dress slightly, but longer than the front, not just slightly. I really wanted to invoke the feeling of the opera, and while I'm not sure if I succeeded in that front, I still really like her costume. For her colors, I played around a little bit, but eventually went with a darker version of Cecilia's outfit, and I really like the contrast of Nightingale's darker clothing with Cecilia's pastel dress. For her references, I tried to reference opera clothing and ballet dresses, just because I wanted her dress to be shorter than a long, full-blown ball gown, as that wouldn't be very good for battling. Next, Calstia's counterpart, another member of the bounty hunter group and one of the last members, aside from one other down the line. Much like Calstia, she enjoys inventing, but not in the same way. She enjoys inventing different poisons and other harmful magical potions and doesn't exactly mind testing this out on the innocent. She keeps a detailed journal of the poisons, what they do, and even who she tested it on. She's definitely insane, however, she knows how to mask this and tries to blend in more than the others. She always keeps her 3 most dangerous and favorite poisons on her belt. She can keep up her facade with ease, though once you fall victim to her poisons, her insane smile and laugh will be all that you see. Her outfit is simple, so she can blend in and look like a wandering traveler. I tried to play off Calstia's outfit, though did give her her own style. Due to her skills, she's second in command of the bounty hunter group, though often gets in arguments with the leader. For her colors, I wanted to play off Calstia and give her a brown outfit, but after doing a color test, it didn't work out. She just stood out too much, so I tried to give the outfit a purple tint, but it looked really ugly to me. So I just gave in and gave her a purple outfit, which, while it doesn't really scream a counterpart to Calstia, it does fit more in line with the bounty hunter group. Her references were kinda strange, as I referenced fantasy bounty hunters, the love god from Gravity Falls for the belt, and also Jiffany for Gravity Falls for her personality type and her crazed smiles. Alcindor is the leader of the bounty hunter group and is Dancia's counterpart, as well as Lucas's adopted father. He's a moral man and believes in the law. Then why is he a bounty hunter, I hear you asking? Because he also believes in taking the law into his own hands, and that he is the authority. He's very strict on his group and himself, as he also has a very strict workout routine. He will accept anyone into his group to pursue justice, even if it means favoring those within his group. He and Dancia do have a history together, as he's been trying to catch Dancia for her petty crimes and to put her behind bars. However, she does keep escaping him. I gave him a hood and undershirt, as I really like that, and I've had it in my head ever since I first started picturing him. Due to the hood, it was difficult to give him a bag of any kind, so instead I gave him cargo pants, which have everything he needs. I'm not used to drawing large, muscular men, and even with references, he's not exactly how I pictured, but I still like how he turned out. For his original colors, I went purple, but after doing a color swatch test with the others in a separate canvas, there were too many purples, so instead I went with blue. I do think the blue suits him much better than the purple. It also gives him a counterpart with his son Lucas. His references were fantasy bounty hunters, as I didn't have much of a visual library on those. Finally, we have Adeline's counterpart. He is a little different than the others. He is Adeline's father, and he adores his daughter and treats her like a princess. However, while Adeline was growing up, she noticed her father's cruelty towards the staff and common folk. She does run away, and her father hires bounty hunters to take care of her so-called kidnappers and bring her back. He works closely with the first film I talked about, Lady Despina. However, if I say why they're working together, it'll spoil the story. Even talking about Lady Despina might spoil the story, however, it won't spoil the story too much. Anyways, for his clothes, I tried to go for a stuffy yet proud look. He never does his own dirty work. He uses his wealth to hire someone to do it for him. This, of course, is where the bounty hunters come in, to get his precious little girl back, even though she did leave on her own accord. His colors are very similar to his daughter's, as I wanted him to stand out from the other villains, as he's not a part of the bounty hunters, and the only reason why he works with Lady Despina is for his own self-interest. He is entangled with the other villains, but like Lady Despina, he is not a part of the group. For references, I referenced Vincent from Black Butler, Victorian clothing, as well as his own daughter. So, here are all my villains all together, and I really love how they turned out. Though Vincent and Lady Despina do stand out, it's not a big deal as the bounty hunters take center stage and they're not really a part of the bounty hunter group. And besides that, the bounty hunters are the ones that are going to take center stage in the story. The values are varied, though not as varied on some as they are on others, which is great for their outfits and how they look overall. I might fix the ones that do need fixing, but not now and later down the road. The silhouettes also look really good, as you can see, and you can easily tell who's who in them. I really love this set of villains, and I'm really proud of them. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please check out my social media, Steven's social media, the Gem School Host Club, and my comics. Stay artsy. Bye, guys.